From 1983, that significant year, until I would say 1996 or so, I was involved in pastoring full-time, working full-time at my secular job. And so I didn't have any deliverance cases that stand out in my memory. Oh, I'm sure I was doing it. Casting out here and casting out there. I'm sure I was doing it. I just don't remember. There was nothing significant going on. I was focused in other aspects of ministry. But I was studying, doing a lot of reading and studying about deliverance ministry, and reading the books of others, which I have since tossed in the flame. And anyway, the next case came up. And this was the case that blew my mind and everything. Y'all know how I talk sometimes. I'm not from the South, but you would think I am. This case blew my mind. And my book, Faces of the Religious Demon, I camouflage the case a lot. I don't give details about the case. And all I'm going to say, not going to give details even now, but a young woman who I found to be spiritually endowed, that I was grooming to be a minister. She was the best church member that I had in the church that I started and founded in 1996. She showed up in 1999, and I was grooming her, and we were close. She was like a spiritual daughter to me. And there was much that, out of caring, I overlooked. I forgave even. And I allowed her to be in the pulpit at my church and to speak. And she had gifts. She had prophetic gifts. And she was young. At that time, I think when I met her, I think she was 19 or 20, something like that. But the thing about her was that she was in a wheelchair and had been there from practically birth. And she was one of those overcompensating type of people. In other words, she got to church earlier than most people. She stayed longer. She came more often. She tithed better than anybody. And she could preach and prophesy and worship and everything. She had the whole package. One day she came to me. She said she had a dream. And she saw 3 snakes coming out of her chest. And that the Lord spoke to her and said, "Go to Pam and have her cast these spirits out from you. And I was like shocked. Shocked. But I was willing, I got guts. I was willing to go forward. But what happened? I could not believe what happened. What happened was, when I went to cast these spirits from her, they completely took her over. And this is what I think happened. The religious demon pushed the crippling infirmity demon aside. Got so mad at me, jumped into her body, picked her up out the wheelchair, and walked towards me in what I have referred to as the Frankenstein stroll. And backed me up in the corner of my church. And two big, over 200-pound women had to pull this little 110-pound person to the floor. Okay? And when she got to the floor, she sat there and she said, the spirit said through her, "She's mine. She's mine. Her grandmother gave her to me." And this was my second experience that inspired a book, inspired more than one book. And from that point on, I have been strongly in deliverance ministry, particularly with online folk. And that's how I'm going to end the story right now. With each case, I learn something new. And sometimes I write about it, and sometimes I just keep it up here. All right. Take care now. This has been fun.